Hello, my lovely audience, my dear friends. Welcome to the East West Show. Jack Chow on the East West Show with G&E TV. At this show, we promote all kinds of subjects, including people. When I say people, I'm talking about role models, which will be referential to us ourselves, including myself. And we know that as immigrants, we come into a brand new country. There are lots of challenges. And of course, we do carry some advantages on ourselves, and we do have to face our disadvantages. So today with me is one of the exceptions that he comes in from a very low point, and now he made his fortune all the way up. That's my friend, James Chow. Mr. Chow, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zhao, and
right.
thank you for the audience of EDI Media.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying that. I've heard your story through my good friend, which is a mutual friend, Evelyn Town.
Yes.
She spoke very highly about you, talking about not only business, but also your pursue yourself with the musical field, right? Namely vocal music, to be more precise, tenor.
Yes.
Right? So,
yes.
and of course, this is quite a story to me itself, because starting from the point of singing to all the way doing business, but do very successful business, and then coming back to do vocal music, that's quite a story itself, right? I would like to let yourself do an introduction, please.
Okay.
And how you started, and well, including your early life, your education or early life, please.
Okay. Actually, yes, of course, my name is James Chow. In Chinese, is Chow Xin.
Okay.
And I call myself tenor by night.
Tenor by night.
A mannequin man by day. Well, it's a long story. So my daily task, which is my day job, was to promote the business for my company. We design mannequins and make mannequins and sell to fashion stores, department stores, like Macy's stores, JCPenney.
Oh.
They have our mannequins in the store, in the
see.
windows, right?
I always wonder who made them.
So we have to design the mannequins first, and usually we get input from our customers, like what they want, what kind of style they expect.
We leave the business part later. I was asking your early life, early story.
Okay. Yes.
How you started.
Yeah.
Did you start as a tenor first, or did you start as a businessman first?
Well,
now what year did you come here?
I came to America in 1980.
1980.
80.
80.
80.
80. 80.
80.
Okay, 80. Okay, 98.
So, and before that, I was studying.
What did you come here for?
Well, I came here to study in college.
I see.
Yeah, I was in my third year in college in Guangzhou University of Foreign Languages.
You're from Canton.
Canton. So I came here to study English and also hoping to study some advanced technology.
I see. I see.
So that's why my major was in business, but with the focus on information system.
I see.
So I studied in.
Back then, did you know you have the talent of singing, or you have?
I didn't know I have the talent to sing, but my family were all musical professionals.
Oh, I see. I see.
So I have that background deep inside me.
I see. I see.
Actually, before I went to college, I was actually working in a small island in southern China. And that was because during the Cultural Revolution, at the end of Cultural Revolution, all the high school graduates were sent to the countryside to work.
I see. You were among them.
Yes, I worked for 6 years in the small island
Okay.
near the Pearl River.
I see.
Actually, I have a picture. I want to show it.
That's okay.
No,
That's okay.
that's
That's
okay.
okay. That's
So,
okay. Yeah.
and well, there was a lot of hardship I had to go through, but I, stood up, and worked with the peasants there, the farmers there.
I see.
So I was still optimistic about life. And later, when the school resumed college, so I, passed the examination and I got accepted in the Guangzhou University of Foreign Languages.
Oh, you see?
So it's like a new chapter of my life.
Of course, yes.
Because of the higher education.
You major in English?
Yes, that was my major.
Okay.
So that was good with such a major to come to America and speak the same language. But again, my major now in the U.S. was information system for business.
That was when you pick up your further education in the United States, right?
Yes.
I see.
So after graduation, I went on to work as a computer programmer.
You're everything. You know computer now.
Yes.
All right, good.
Yes.
You computer programmer.
Yeah,
okay.
I was doing this mainframe computer programming.
I see.
So COBOL is very popular at that time.
I see. I know nothing about the whole thing.
It's mostly for like a large size business, like a banks. They have to, calculate all the statements and print the statements, and large organizations.
I see.
I worked as a computer programmer for 10 years.
Oh, that's quite some
Then
time.
I get bored of it.
Okay. That brings you to 1990.
Yes, 1990. Actually, I graduated in 1994, 84.
84.
So 1994, that was the time I left the company. Even though I was working for a very big company, job security is pretty good, but then I still felt that I need to have a new adventure in my life.
Okay.
So
you need to go one step further.
Yes.
Okay.
Because at that time, China just start to have a new economy, open up. And so I started to think, okay, what should I do to go to China to find a new business or do something other
so
than
you
just
went back to China in 1994 looking for business opportunities.
Yeah. I was originally trying to sell to China the computer technology in large format printing.
I see.
Like big billboards. They print it in by computer.
I see.
But at that time in China, it was only by hand drawing.
Okay.
But my business was not successful because I didn't have much money. But also I have family over here. I have 2 children in Los Angeles. It would be hard for me to stay in China for a long time, try to sell. If you want to sell something, you have to be in that place, right? So I decided to sell something back to United States. And so I found out one day I went to a store in Los Angeles, and that's where I used to work every day. And I would see there's a mannequin store near the freeway. So I went into the store and asked them, where are the mannequins made? And they said, in Korea.
In Korea.
Or Taiwan. And they were not made in China yet. So I thought, okay, maybe that's some opportunity.
All right, you can get in.
Yeah, so I was looking for a product.
All right. My dear audiences, today my friend James Chow, Chow Xin, business entrepreneur and also a tenor. We haven't talked about the tenor part yet, but so far I know that he has some thoughts. And we're now at the point when he discovered that China back then in 1994 was not a manufacturer for mannequins, and he was the one trying to break the ice. So let's see if he could or he could not. So stay with us. Hello, my dear folks, my lovely friends. Welcome back to the show, Jack Chow on the East West with G&E TV. Today, joining me is my friend James Chow, and business entrepreneur, and also the way I take that he is a thinker, and he is a creator, and at least he created himself from step by step to make himself different models. So now we're back to 1994, the year when he discovered that he could probably make through to the mannequin business. So starting from there, you decided you want to get involved in that business.
Right, and well, I didn't know this business at all in the beginning. I even couldn't pronounce the word mannequin, so everything was new to me. But I thought, you have to start from, zero. And actually, when I was in the small island in China, I actually was starting from this zero also. So they were saying people that were working in the countryside from high school in China, they had that kind of experience. Now they come to America and they have the same, will and same strength deep inside them. They are not afraid of anything.
Okay.
So that's why I felt to do something new in the mannequin business.
Okay. That time you knew nothing about the whole thing.
Correct. Correct.
And how did you start to make your first move?
Well, I like to see who would be my customers. And then I actually went to the trade show. And then I found out, okay, there are many people using mannequins, and there are some different levels too. So I want to get to the high level, not trying to do the ordinary, because I just like you buy cars, there are different models too. So I want to make to the top. So I started to participate in the trade shows too. And then also at the same time, while I'm trying to get my customer to know our business, I also have to set up the factory in China also. So eventually now we're able to sell to the mainstream.
Okay, slow down a little bit. So when you learned that you could do something, went back to China, you found yourself a place to make it.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
So in the time during the whole thing, there are lots of money involved. Do you think so?
Yes. Well, it's a long journey, so you have to start.
Where did you get the money?
Well,
Take your time. We have plenty of time. I'm more interested in the process rather than the result.
Well, in the beginning, while I was working as a computer programmer, I saved some money, but then I was too carried away by the investment in the real estate property. So I bought 3 houses, at that time. But then the economy was going down, so I ended up actually selling all 3 houses.
And you sold them.
So sold them, and I didn't have money. So I actually, when I went to China, I used my credit card. Yeah.
You started on borrowed money, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You borrowed.
I borrow money and step by step, but in the beginning you don't have a huge customer, so your investment is not.
Did you get a customer agreeing to buy your mannequins first, or did you go back to produce your own mannequins first?
Well, I have to actually. Since I was starting from zero, so I don't have a factory at that time. So I have to buy from someone who was making mannequin already. So I have to check the quality to see if they are good. And then I would buy them and I would bring it back by containers over the sea, and then sell them to a customer that they want them. But originally, they are just like generic mannequins. It's not like exactly, what they call it, off-shelf products. It's not like a custom designed. But over the year, we learned to
stiff joints, not movables, things like that, right?
Yeah, because they were made of fiberglass, so they are very stiff, hard. And they are already just one pose or different poses, not too many choices, in the beginning. But later on in our business, we found out different customers have different styles. They want to buy mannequins that is conformable to their brand image.
In the process of starting this business, what was the biggest challenge for you that made you almost give up?
Well, the biggest challenge is that if you want to go just to be just a manufacturer, or you want to become the mainstream mannequin company that can directly contact the customers.
So you're saying a decision on directions where you're going.
Yeah, we decided we need to be on the top level in the industry so that we can directly communicate to the customers.
Okay.
And not through a middleman. I think there are a lot of Chinese factories in China. They have to sell the product to a wholesaler in the US. And then the wholesaler will sell to the end customer, like, for instance, JCPenney companies, the headquarters. But for us, we want to go direct. To do that, there are two things that's very important. One is your communication skills.
Okay.
And also second, your scale of the business. Can they trust you?
Okay.
Your quality has to be good. So we were able to gradually, improve in both areas.
Okay.
Yeah, and because I studied in English in China, so that gave me some advantage.
No problem with the communication. Okay.
We are good in in speaking to them, communicating ideas, not only in speaking but also in writing. But of course, we still have to hire some local American employees, and they become in charge of the sales department.
Okay. In other words, there's almost a smooth sailing from the point you started borrowing money from your credit card to you started successfully with your first contract, going on and on from there, right?
I think it's because our careful planning and execution. We didn't really have any major stumbling block, So I think I could say it's pretty, smooth, well executed.
I see.
But it's a very slow, one step at a time process.
Up.
Yeah.
And last time over the phone, I heard you mention that you sold on 20, 30 something basis of mannequins per year to Macy or
JCPenney.
JCPenney, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of mannequins.
Yes. Well, they have almost like 1,000 stores in this country.
I see.
So they want to do a total change on their store visual presentations. So they need a lot of mannequins, and they did that in 1 year. It was pretty amazing. And
all right, to give them to sell them like 20, 30,000 mannequins. That's quite a lot of mannequins.
Yes, it was a big project. That's why we call it rollouts. Like you not only sell to
roll out. Yes.
Yeah, roll out. Roll out into at that time 600 stores in the United States.
I see.
Yeah, so
That's a lot. That's a lot. So, are you still operating the company yourself now?
well, 2 years ago, I was approaching my retiring, age. So I told my wife, Lily, that, since the business is doing quite well, and you've been, my wife been in the business for 7 years, and she's gaining a lot of experience too. So I asked her permission to step away from the business and going back to my passion, to do music.
Which is music.
Yes.
All right. And then it was agreed between you and her that she does the business and you go on for your music? my lovely audience, my dear folks, welcome back to the show, Jack Chow on East West with G&E TV. With me today, my friend James Chow is telling his stories of his early life. That includes his college days, his language student days, over his business days, now going back his tenor days. Now, Mr. Chow, I was going to ask, I believe the only question I was going to ask exactly from the same ground up. That is, the ground being that I'm interested in your personal story, not the story itself, but the guts to go behind it, to go for it. And now I'm asking, as immigrant, as we mentioned in the very beginning, we carry on us or with us some advantages. And of course, we are facing some advantages. So to you apply your story, that what do you see are the disadvantages and what do you see are the advantages as immigrants?
I think every immigrant who came to this country to pursue their dreams all had difficulties and disadvantages. And one big disadvantage is you are new. You have no background here. You have no establishment here.
Okay.
It's totally new. It's almost like you're going to the moon.
Yeah,
you know?
of course. Yeah, you're new.
Yeah.
Yes. You're
So
new. You never
especially 30-some years ago when I came, there are not many Chinese here. There was not a big Chinese community in Los Angeles. So you almost like starting very, lonely. But I thought my advantage is I had even hardship, even more difficult hardship in China when I went to work in the small island. So at that time, life was very primitive. Every day you work like 12 hours in the fields, and then after that you have to still work
Of course.
in the river to do fishing.
I see.
I was a farmer and a fisherman.
Yeah.
So life was very difficult there. So here, I'm sure I can, work from, the bottom up gradually. So I think that strong conviction that I can come through one day, that make me always confident and also optimistic about myself.
You mean it is the opportunity that triggers you that you might want to enlarge your advantage, to take that advantage from that point on to overcome your own self.
Yes.
To start successfully. Am I right?
Yes. I think a lot of people over here, especially young people, their life has been very peaceful, very affluent, and they're very privileged. And to go through difficulties, to overcome problems, may sound not so easy for them. But our advantage coming from a very, primitive society at that time, we feel, oh, this is nothing, For instance, you work, you already work 12 hours a day. Now you work 8 hours, that's nothing.
All right, good.
Good.
So you've been there.
Yeah, I've been there. I've
yeah.
done that, So that make me,
I do agree. I do agree a lot. The other day, I was talking to a young man, of a film student, and I believe one of the questions I asked him, "How do you look at hardships in life, hardship at your work, hardship at school, stuff like that?" And I wanted to lead the question into a realization that sometimes your hard way earned experiences could be your treasure.
Yes.
Sometimes you could use it for overcoming difficulties.
Yes.
So you agree with me, obviously.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I think that experience is very valuable in your life, not just for the moment, but for the future. Every time you overcome something, especially very, very difficult situation, you remember it. And then you have the confidence in the future. Since I were able to handle that, I'm sure right now it looks very difficult, but then once I get a way to overcome it, and then it's nothing. So I keep that faith, I keep that conviction that difficulty is nothing if you persist to overcome it.
Yeah, to me, difficulties is all depends on how you look at them. If you look at them as difficulty, they are of course difficulties. If you take them as, okay, this is the cost of success, I have to pay, and then you pay gladly.
Yes.
Right? You pay gladly. You know, this is the tuition. This is the cost of getting educated. Well, so, and that's why, my dear audience, today I kind of worried about our young people who from day one to all the way now never seen what is called hardship. So what if someday they are sent to an island, like in your case, and to let them make on their own, okay, to survive or to not survive on their own? I believe they will have good time, big times surviving. They will really have to work hard, right?
Yes.
Today with me, my good friend, James Chow, founder and the CEO of CNL, the Mannequins Inc., and they're doing the models for a department store, and he is also a tenor, one of the tri-tenor of Chow's, right?
Street tenors.
Yeah, tri-tenors of Chow's, and well, quite a successful life, but interesting story. Let's take a short moment out. When we come back, we're talking about the tri-tenor Chow's. Stay with us, please. Hello, my dear audience. Welcome back to the show. As a matter of fact, this discussion about life. It is a special life. It is a typical kind of life that we would like to recommend to you. Started almost with nothing, all the way up to one of the biggest mannequin business of the United States. And then from that point on, this very person, James Chow, backs up going to his music class and started music business. So, and how do you started the triple tenor of Chow's, please?
Well, we were talking about that earlier. In 2002, when my brother and my parents were all in the United States, they perform all the time, and then I found, oh.
What did your father do?
My father was a composer.
Composer,
So,
okay.
Yeah, composer.
And your mother?
My mother was a soprano.
Oh, she's a soprano. All right, good.
Yeah. So.
And your elder brother?
My elder brother was a tenor.
Ah.
He's still a tenor. Yeah, he's teaching.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. And then you're the third tenor of the
Chow family. Yeah.
The Chow family.
Yeah.
So your father can also sing.
Yes, he was trained to be a tenor when he went to conservatory school.
I see.
But then later in his career, he gradually shifted to compose. But he could still sing as a tenor. that's why we decided, you know, we would do a 3-child tenors.
You know what? Why some of the tenors, some of the vocal artists turn out to be composers? You know why?
I don't know. Yeah.
I got the chance. I got the opportunities to check. And I asked a lot of successful composers who are also started from the point of being a tenor or whatever, vocal artists themselves. They say the more I sang, they found the less of the materials I could sing. I like, so I better write something for myself. That's how they become composers themselves. So, agree or not, anyway, it's the same. Okay. So, back to your story though. When you decided to do the Chow tri-tenors, so what did you do? Well, I heard this whole thing from Evelyn Town.
Yeah, see, that was about 15 years ago. So at that time, I was still doing business, big time. So I have to find my, you know, pastime during the weekends to have some time to sing together with my father, my brother. So for so many years, I kept doing my business, but also participated in the singing. So that's why my passion get bigger and bigger. I was singing better and better, but still the burden or the responsibility is very, you know, big in the company. So I couldn't really, you know, forget everything and just go to study music.
Okay.
So that's why at that time I call myself mannequin man by day, tenor by night.
That's why tenor by night.
Yeah, that's why, because
and that's
I
why
only
this is a card. Kind of you say day and night.
Day and night. Yeah.
Oh yeah, good. And when I first saw it, I thought you were promoting yin and yang. Okay, very good. Tenor by night.
Yeah.
For tenor by night, what do you do? Did you take class or what? Or just what?
Well, in the beginning, I just learned from my father and my brother for many years.
Your brother is a tenor, was a tenor himself.
Yeah, he's a tenor himself.
Isn't he still around?
Yes, he lives in Monterey Park.
Yeah. I see.
My father passed away 5 years ago. But before that, we had a very good time singing together. The 3-child tenors, we went to Beijing in 2008.
Oh, wow.
And we held a special concert called the 3-child tenor concert.
I see.
And for the Chinese water sports Olympic team. So, and also we had some concert in the United States. Also, 2005 we had a concert in Zipper Hall in the in downtown.
Hall. All right, good.
Downtown LA.
Yeah, of course.
And then 2010 we had another concert for my father in the San Gabriel Playhouse. So it was all his composed work. So after that, I really felt that I need to follow the family tradition, and especially actually I like to compose too. So this time I went to Cal Arts.
Are you telling me that you're starting composing yourself?
Yes, exactly.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
You follow your father's step.
Yeah, I thought I'm pretty good at getting the melody, you know. Have like some sort of very natural instinct about what is good for the melody.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So right now, I just graduated from Cal Arts.
Cal Arts.
After studying 2 years over there.
I see.
And my degree is an MFA degree in voice art. But actually, because of my training over there and also over the years, I feel that I should write songs myself. So I already composed maybe 10 songs.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That's not bad. That's not bad. Yeah.
And then I'm going to have a project to make a Broadway musical, Tenor by Night.
Oh, Tenor by Night.
I use my own story
to
make a musical.
All right. You have a script already?
Well, I already wrote down the plots, you know, and some scripts, and I discussed it with my family, with Lily, and with my 2 children, and they all like it.
All right.
So I already started writing 4 songs already.
I see.
So the first song would be "The Magic of Mannequins."
The Magic of Mannequins. Yeah.
And then the second song is "Customer is King." So it's like talk about little business, you know.
Okay, Customer is King.
And then also I also have another song called "Happy Wife, Happy Life."
Happy wife, happy life. Okay, good.
Because you know, Lily is so helpful.
Okay.
And then I'm enjoying my life because of her. You know?
All right.
Yeah.
So, and the fourth?
Well, there will be.
You finished the 4 songs already, right?
The other 4 is "Rice is Life."
What?
Rice
Rice.
is life.
You're eating
eat
the
rice.
rice. You're eating rice.
It's a dance song that I want to present to reflect the lives in the small island. Because we were
so starved. You were so starved.
Yeah.
So rice was that important. Rice is life. Okay.
Well, because we have so many things to do with rice in our life, particularly in that small island.
Thank you very much. Very nice. Thank you very, very so much, because this is such an interesting interview. It goes from there, everywhere. All right? We're touching everywhere to find out you're a man of everything, right? I have, Mr. Chow, about less than 2 minutes, a minute, a little bit. You want to sing us a song, like say, Life and the Wife?
What happy
life,
life, happy wife.
Happy wife, happy life, or happy life, happy wife. You want to do that?
Okay.
Okay, let's do it. Let's hear it.
Okay, thank you. It's a very simple song.
Okay. Let's see.
Happy wife, happy life, happy wife, happy life. Make her smile, make her laugh, making sure she's the better half. Dee 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 da dee da da.
And the tenor part?
Happy wife, happy life, happy wife, happy life. Bring her flowers, sing her song, feeling romantic all day long.
Good, very
and
good.
then the third, there's some
I even like the lyric.
bridge. And then the third verse is happy wife, happy life, happy wife, happy life. She's never wrong, she always right. She's never wrong. The best policy is to go along.
Oh, right. She's right, she's never wrong. The best policy to go along. All right? Use that. We want to wrap it up on this interview with me, my good friend James Chow, and he is everything, starting all the way up from a language student all the way to a successful businessman and a composer. In between, he's a tenor himself. So thank you very much, my dear audience. Thank you, and especially the ending sentence. She's always right. She's never wrong. The only policy to go along. Right? Okay, very good.
Thank you.